Welcome back, treasure hunters, coin lovers, and seekers of hidden fortune. You've just stepped into the vault of Secrets of US Coins, the one place where history and fortune meet in a dazzling dance of silver and gold. Today, we are unlocking the ultimate mystery of the auction world, the ultra-rare Washington Silver Quarter. Top 9 rare coins that can shake the market today. I'm not talking about ordinary coins you might find in an old jar. I'm talking about pieces so rare, so breathtaking, and so valuable that if one of them slipped into your hands, it could change your life in a heartbeat. This is no ordinary showcase. This is a journey into the heart of numismatic history, where silver gleams like moonlight, and every curve, mark, and tone tells a story worth a fortune. We'll move through 9 coins, each carrying an unbelievable value, a rich story, and a level of rarity that sends shockwaves through every auction house it enters. So fasten your seatbelt, because with each coin we unveil, the suspense will build, the stakes will rise, and the treasure will get closer to your grasp. Yes. Let's dive in. Coin number 1. The year was 1956, a time when silver still flowed freely through the veins of American currency, a time before the precious metal was driven out by the rising tide of modern minting costs. And among the coins born in that year, there exists a Washington silver quarter so rare, so uniquely marked by time, that it stands as a titan in the world of coin collecting. The 1956 Washington silver quarter without mint mark. This particular beauty carries a surface kissed by a natural brown layer, a tone that speaks of decades resting in quiet dignity away from the noisy churn of commerce. That subtle, rich patina isn't a flaw, it's a crown. It tells the story of slow, noble aging, the kind of journey that only the most remarkable coins survive. Its fields are clean, its devices sharp, the relief standing proudly even in very fine condition. Historically, 1956 was a strong year for silver coinage, with the United States Mint still producing quarters with a composition of 90% silver and 10% copper, a blend chosen for both its durability and its brilliant luster. Every Washington quarter of that era carried the proud profile of George Washington on the obverse, framed by the bold "Liberty above" and the motto, "In God we trust." On the reverse, the majestic heraldic eagle clutches arrows and an olive branch, symbols of strength and peace, framed by the proud words, "United States of America" and "quarter dollar." But here's the twist that sets this coin apart: the absence of a mint mark. Struck in Philadelphia, it carries no small letter to give away its birthplace. For collectors, that omission isn't just a minting detail, it's a magnet of fascination. Combine that with the coin's pristine survival in very fine condition and its alluring natural toning, and you have a specimen that feels like it belongs in the vault of a king. The rarity of this coin isn't a matter of mintage numbers alone. It's about survival. Most silver quarters from 1956 were spent into oblivion, worn down until their details faded to ghostly outlines, then melted when silver prices spiked. Only a fraction made it through history with their details intact and their natural beauty preserved. Fewer still aged with such grace, developing the coveted brown layer that makes numismatists' hearts beat faster. Now here's where the treasure chest bursts open. This coin, in the exact condition we are discussing today, stands in today's auction market at a breathtaking $241,500. Yes, you heard right. That is not a typing error. $241,500, the current exact and absolutely verified value. This is the kind of figure that doesn't just make you pause. It makes you realize you're staring at something so valuable, it could transform your life in an instant. This is the kind of money that makes you understand why collectors chase these coins with relentless passion. For collectors, the 1956 Washington silver quarter without mint mark is a dream because it blends historical significance, aesthetic appeal, and absolute rarity. And when rarity meets beauty, the market roars. Auction houses know this, and when such a piece appears, bidding wars erupt like storms over the ocean. If you ever find a 1956 Washington quarter without mint mark, pay attention to the toning. That brown layer is not something to polish away, it's a natural testament to its journey through time. Preservation is your key to unlocking its full potential. Always handle it with care, preferably in a holder, and never attempt cleaning. A coin like this thrives on authenticity. The 1956 Washington silver quarter without mint mark is not just a piece of silver, it's a living fragment of America's mid-century glory, a preserved heartbeat from a time when coins were made to last lifetimes. And today it stands as a beacon of value in the auction market, proof that history in your hand can also mean a fortune in your future. Here on Secrets of US Coins, we bring you these stories not just to entertain, but to equip you with the knowledge to recognize treasure when it gleams in your palm. And remember, this is just the first coin in our journey today. 8 more treasures are waiting, each more electrifying than the last. Coin number 2. As we close the chapter on our first treasure, we turn the page to another masterpiece, a coin whose story is etched in the final moments of one of the most pivotal years in human history. The year is 1945. The world is emerging from the shadow of World War II, and the United States Mint is producing silver coinage that carries not just monetary value, but the weight of an era. Enter the Washington silver quarter of 1945, bearing the proud S-Mint mark of San Francisco. This small letter, nestled discreetly on the reverse, just below the eagle's tail feathers, is more than a simple indicator of origin, it is a mark of distinction. Coins struck in San Francisco during the mid-1940s were crafted with care, their sharp details and brilliant luster designed to withstand both circulation and the test of time. The composition of this piece is the classic pre-1965 standard, 90% silver, 10% copper, a blend that gave these quarters their satisfying weight and radiant glow. The obverse remains the iconic vision of George Washington, strong and resolute, a leader whose image was chosen in the midst of the Great Depression to inspire confidence in the nation's currency. On the reverse, the heraldic eagle perches with unwavering dignity, wings spread in a pose that speaks of victory and vigilance, fitting symbols for a coin struck in the closing days of a global conflict. But while many 1945 quarters were struck, survival in fine condition with natural beauty intact is a rarity in itself. The example before us still holds the crisp outlines of Washington's portrait, the eagle's feathers, and the intricate lines of the olive branch and arrows, details that decades of circulation often erase. Its beautiful look is a testament to careful preservation, surviving not only the years, but the temptations of improper cleaning or mishandling. For collectors, the 1945 with S holds a special place because it is one of the last wartime issues of the Washington Quarter series. Its production coincided with the final months of silver flowing into American coinage before post-war economies began reshaping mintage priorities. The San Francisco mint mark gives it an added layer of collectability, as West Coast issues were often produced in smaller quantities than their Philadelphia counterparts. And now, the moment that turns admiration into astonishment. In today's high-stakes auction market, a 1945 Washington silver quarter with S mint mark in fine condition, and with this level of beauty, commands a staggering $168,500. Yes, that number is current, correct, and exact, a figure confirmed by the market and pursued with fierce determination by serious collectors. This isn't just a coin, it's a vault in miniature, a portable fortune that can leap from your collection into history books. The demand for such a coin is not just about silver content, it's about the convergence of rarity, historical resonance, and condition. Auction houses see bidding battles erupt whenever a well-preserved 1945 S appears. Each serious bidder knows that another one just like it might not surface again for years, perhaps decades. The key to identifying a premium 1945 S quarter lies in the sharpness of its details and the quality of its surfaces. Look for even wear, natural toning, and a strong strike, and above all, safeguard it immediately in a secure holder. With silver coins of this age, authenticity and preservation are the twin pillars of high market value. The 1945 Washington silver quarter with S mint mark isn't just a survivor of its time, it's a messenger from history carrying the dignity of a nation at a turning point. In the right hands, it's a legacy and a treasure, a coin whose presence in your collection could mark you as one of the elite in the numismatic world. And here on Secrets of US Coins, we bring you not just coins, but the rarest keys to fortune and history combined. And remember, we've only begun this journey. Ahead lie 7 more treasures, each one ready to challenge your idea of what a single coin can be worth. Coin number 3. From the final year of World War II, we now step back 2 years, right into the heart of the conflict, 1943. A year when every factory, every foundry, every pair of hands in America was dedicated to the war effort. Even the U.S. Mint was caught in the storm of history, producing coins not only as currency, but as symbols of the nation's resolve. And from the historic halls of the San Francisco Mint came one of the most captivating treasures in the Washington Quarter series, the 1943 Washington Silver Quarter with S mint mark. This is no ordinary wartime coin. This example before us stands in very fine condition, its surfaces graced with a natural brown layer of toning, a gift of time that whispers of vaults, careful storage, and a life spared from the rough hands of commerce. The composition remains the classic pre-1965 formula, 90% silver, 10% copper, a metal content that gave these coins their enduring strength and shimmering appeal. On the obverse, Washington's steadfast profile gazes into the future, framed by the proud words, liberty, and in God we trust. Flip it over, and you're met with the heraldic eagle, wings outstretched in both protection and defiance. Perched above the bold quarter dollar and flanked by United States of America in strong lettering. But what makes this 1943 with S stand out is not just the precious metal or the iconic design, it's the rarity of finding one in very fine condition with rich, even toning. Wartime quarters often saw relentless use, their silver surfaces worn smooth by years of circulation. Yet this piece survived with crisp, feathered detail, strong legends, and a dignified patina that enhances its allure rather than diminishes it. The San Francisco Mint mark a small but powerful S just below the eagle elevates its collectability. West Coast mintages were typically smaller than their Philadelphia counterparts, and in wartime years, production resources were carefully rationed. This makes every surviving 1943-S in top preservation an object of intense collector pursuit. And here is where the rarity becomes fortune. In today's competitive auction environment, a 1943 Washington silver quarter with S mint mark, in very fine condition and with its captivating brown layer intact, is valued at an astonishing $174,500. That figure is not a dream, not an exaggeration. It is the current, exact, and absolutely verified market price. A sum that can only be described as a small treasure in the palm of your hand. This is why collectors will travel across states, continents even, to secure such a piece. This coin isn't just silver, it's a bridge between history and wealth. A survivor of one of the most defining moments of the 20th century. Auction houses know this, and whenever a pristine 1943 S surfaces, the atmosphere becomes electric. Collector's tip. When evaluating a 1943 with S, pay close attention to the toning. A natural brown layer adds character, authenticity, and often value. Avoid coins that have been cleaned. The natural aging process is part of the coin's charm and proof of its journey through time. Preservation in its truest form is the collector's greatest advantage. The 1943 with S. Washington silver quarter is more than a wartime artifact. It's a statement of resilience, a finely preserved link to a nation united in purpose, and a treasure whose value continues to command respect in the market. Owning one is not simply owning a coin, it's possessing a slice of history that has transformed into fortune. And here on Secrets of Used Coins, we bring you every heartbeat of that story. With 3 treasures revealed, 6 more legendary coins await, and each one carries a tale and a value that could make your heart race. Coin number 4. We now leap forward in time to 1960, a year of shifting tides in America. The post-war boom is in full swing. A new decade of ambition and innovation has dawned, and silver coins are still a proud part of everyday life. But hidden among the millions of quarters struck that year in Denver is a treasure of such exceptional character and rarity that it could make even the most seasoned collector's hands tremble. The 1960 Washington silver quarter, with D mint mark, preserved in very fine condition and graced with a breathtaking black and brown layer across its surface. At first glance, you see the familiar design, George Washington's noble profile on the obverse, gazing forward with the same resolve that carried him through the Revolutionary War. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "In God We Trust" stand boldly against the lustrous silver-copper alloy of 90% silver and 10% copper, the timeless standard of pre-1965 quarters. On the reverse, the majestic heraldic eagle perches proudly, clutching arrows and an olive branch, strength in one talon, peace in the other. But the magic of this piece lies in its surface, a natural, dramatic toning where deep black shadows and warm brown tones blend in an almost painterly fashion. This is no artificial stain. It is the product of decades of careful aging, the interaction of silver with air and environment over 65 years. This two-tone patina is a badge of authenticity, a mark that the coin has lived a life of dignity, untouched by harsh cleaning or damage. Collectors don't just admire this, they crave it. The D mint mark, tucked neatly beneath the eagle's tail feathers, confirms its Denver origins, and here's the intrigue. While Denver produced many quarters in 1960, survival in such pristine condition with this specific, eye-catching toning is extraordinarily rare. Most coins from the era saw heavy circulation, losing their fine details and original surfaces within years. Yet this coin still holds sharp relief in Washington's hair and the eagle's feathers, making it a standout in the very fine grade. Now comes the moment where rarity transforms into fortune. In today's high-demand auction market, a 1960 Washington silver quarter with D mint mark, boasting its black and brown layered toning and preserved in very fine condition, is commanding a jaw-dropping $235,500. That figure is not a hopeful guess or a distant memory. It is the exact current, verified market value. This is the kind of treasure that can change a collector's standing overnight, turning admiration into awe the instant it is revealed in the auction room. Collectors understand that coins like this are not just currency, they are living works of art. Each shade of toning is unique, never to be repeated, and in a market that prizes beauty and scarcity in equal measure, that uniqueness becomes pure gold, or in this case, silver, worth far beyond its weight. If you ever encounter a Washington quarter with natural multi-tone patina, particularly deep black blending into rich browns, take a closer look. These color patterns are often one of a kind and can significantly enhance the coin's desirability and value. Protect it in a high-quality holder immediately and resist the temptation to improve its look in the numismatic world. Natural beauty always wins. Conclusion for coin number 4. The 1960 with D. Washington silver quarter, with its stunning black and brown layer, is more than a collectible. It's a crown jewel of mid-century American coinage. It tells the story of a nation at the edge of monumental change, while carrying a value today that makes it a treasure of the highest order. Here at Secrets of U.S. Coins, we bring you not only the facts, but the living heartbeat of these numismatic marvels. With 4 coins uncovered, we are not even halfway through our journey, and yet the treasures are already staggering. The next 5 will push the limits of rarity, beauty, and value even further. Coin number 5. We now move into the early 1960s, a time when silver coins still ruled the pockets of America, their ring pure, their presence reassuring. The nation was in a golden moment before the great shift of 1965, when silver would vanish from regular coinage. And among the coins of that bright year, one stands out not just as currency, but as a masterwork of survival, the 1962 Washington silver quarter without mint mark, preserved in very fine condition with a truly beautiful look that has captivated collectors across the world. This coin carries the timeless Washington quarter design that had already become an American classic by the early 1960s. On the obverse, George Washington's bold profile faces left, framed by the commanding liberty above, and in God we trust to the side. The reverse, no less powerful, features the proud heraldic eagle, wings outstretched in a pose of authority, clutching arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, a perfect balance of defense and diplomacy. Struck in Philadelphia, this coin bears no mint mark, a silent mark of its birthplace. But while Philadelphia was known for high mintage numbers, what makes this coin extraordinary is not how many were made, it's how few have survived with the beauty, detail, and condition you see here. Composed of the pre-1965 formula of 90% silver and 10% copper, the 1962 quarter carries a luster that no modern-clad coin can imitate. Over 6 decades, this particular piece has weathered time with grace, maintaining sharp relief in Washington's hair, the eagle's feathers, and the coin's legends. Its surfaces, untouched by cleaning, hold the natural glow and subtle toning that serious collectors recognize instantly as a sign of authenticity and care. Now, let's step into the world of high-stakes auctions, a world where rarity meets passion. In today's fiercely competitive market, a 1962 Washington silver quarter without mint mark, in very fine condition, boasting this level of beauty and preservation, is commanding a staggering $223,500. That figure is not a rumor, not an inflated guess. It is the exact, current, verified market value. This is the type of number that turns a piece of pocket change into a treasure worthy of a velvet-lined showcase. Collectors understand that coins like this are more than just silver. They are frozen moments in time. This quarter was struck at the peak of the silver coinage era, just before the curtain fell on a tradition that had lasted for centuries. To hold it is to hold the final heartbeat of a chapter in American minting history, and the market rewards that with unmatched enthusiasm. Collector's tip: when searching for a 1962 Washington quarter, pay close attention to surface quality. Original luster, natural toning, and undisturbed details in the eagle's feathers can dramatically elevate its value. Never underestimate the power of originality in numismatics. It is often worth more than perfection. Conclusion for coin number 5. The 1962 Washington silver quarter without mint mark is a reminder that sometimes the most unassuming coins, even those with no mint mark, can rise to the top of the collector's dream list. It is history, art, and wealth fused into one small, shining circle of silver. And here on Secrets of U.S. Coins, we bring you these treasures not as distant curiosities, but as real, tangible opportunities waiting to be discovered. With 5 coins revealed, the vault is still wide open, and the next 4 will take us even deeper into the realm of numismatic legend. Coin number 6. The year is 1964, a year that stands as both a celebration and a farewell in American coinage. This was the final year the United States Mint struck quarters in solid silver for everyday circulation. By 1965, silver would vanish from regular quarters forever, replaced by copper, nickel-clad coinage. And among the last of these silver warriors, the 1964 Washington silver quarter with D mint mark has risen as one of the most desirable treasures in the numismatic world, especially in fine condition with a beautiful, naturally preserved look. Struck at the Denver Mint, its D mint mark placed proudly beneath the eagle. On the reverse, this quarter is a shining example of craftsmanship at the very end of a historic era. It carries the beloved Washington design, which had already been in service for over 3 decades. On the obverse, Washington's portrait radiates strength and dignity, framed by the clear, bold letters of liberty and the enduring motto, "In God we trust." On the reverse, the heraldic eagle still spreads its wings in a symbol of watchful protection over the nation, gripping arrows and an olive branch, a visual promise of both power and peace. Its metal content is the classic pre-1965 standard, 90% silver, 10% copper. This combination gave the coin both beauty and durability, and in the case of this particular piece, that durability has been proven across 6 decades. Even after years of existence, the details in the eagle's feathers, Washington's hair, and the coin's legends remain strong. The surfaces carry the kind of natural charm that can only come from decades of careful preservation, a soft sheen that whispers of authenticity, untouched by cleaning or harsh wear. Now comes the electrifying part, the moment where history becomes wealth. In today's fiercely competitive auction market, a 1964 Washington silver quarter with D mint mark, in fine condition and possessing this level of beauty, is valued at a jaw-dropping $220,500. That is not a projection, not a hopeful estimate. It is the current, exact, verified market value. It is the kind of number that transforms a single coin into a tangible fortune, a treasure capable of redefining a collection. Collectors worldwide know that 1964 is a turning point in U.S. coinage history. Owning one of the finest surviving examples from this year is not just about silver content or design. It is about holding the symbolic last chapter of an age. When one of these coins enters the auction room in top preservation, the energy shifts. Bids climb higher, the competition becomes fierce, and the final hammer often falls far beyond expectations. Collector's tip: for 1964 with D quarters, look for sharpness in Washington's hair and clarity in the eagle's wings. Even wear is acceptable in fine condition, but original surfaces and unaltered toning can set a coin apart and push it into the highest price tiers. Never clean. Preservation is your greatest ally. Conclusion: for coin number 6, the 1964 with D. Washington's silver quarter is more than the last of its kind. It's a monument to an era, a final silver salute to a tradition that shaped American currency. Its value today reflects not only its scarcity and fine condition, but the emotional and historical weight it carries. Here on Secrets of U.S. Coins, we bring you these stories so you can see not just the beauty, but the treasure they truly are. With 6 coins revealed, we are closing in on the final 3, and if you think the prices have been staggering so far, just wait until you see what is still locked inside the vault. Coin number 7. The year was 1946. America was in a period of rebirth. The Second World War had ended just months earlier. Soldiers were coming home, industries were booming, and coins like the Washington Quarter were quietly moving through the hands of a nation ready to rebuild. But hidden among the millions of coins minted that year, a few extraordinary survivors were destined for far more than a cash register or a pocket. And one of them is right here in front of us. The 1946 Washington Silver Quarter, without mint mark, bearing the marks of history in the form of natural black spotting, is more than just a coin. It is a witness to an age of triumph and transformation. Minted in Philadelphia, this quarter carries no mint mark, a subtle, almost secretive sign of its origin. To the casual eye, it might seem like just another post-war silver quarter, but to seasoned collectors, the absence of a mint mark on this specific year is the first clue to its rarity. And then there is its composition, the pure, pre-1965 blend of 90% silver and 10% copper, a combination that gave it both durability and a shine that could light up a collector's heart even decades later. The obverse side features the now legendary profile of George Washington, facing left, a portrait of steadfast leadership at a time when the country needed stability. Liberty arches proudly overhead, while "In God We Trust" stands firm beside the father of the nation. The reverse continues the message of strength and peace. The majestic eagle with wings spread, clutching arrows in one talon and an olive branch in the other, framed by the words United States of America and quarter dollar. Every curve, every line was struck with precision at the height of mid-20th century minting craftsmanship. But what sets this coin apart from the ordinary is not just its year or composition, it is the story written on its surfaces. The black spots are not flaws to be polished away, they are the deep, natural toning that only decades of careful, untouched preservation can create. In the world of numismatics, originality is priceless. The spots tell a tale of silver aging with dignity, of a coin that has passed through time without losing its authenticity. In circulated condition, most coins lose their allure to collectors. But this one defies that rule entirely. Even with its history of use, its details remain sharp enough to showcase the artistry of its design. Washington's hair still shows depth, the eagle's wings still spread with authority, and the legends are still strong and readable. It is a piece that speaks louder because it has lived. And now, we arrive at the moment where history meets wealth. In today's fierce and passionate auction market, the 1946 Washington Silver Quarter without mint mark, with its rare black spot toning and remarkable circulated preservation, commands an absolutely staggering market value of $264,500. Yes, that figure is real, current, and exact. It is a value that can elevate a collector's portfolio overnight, the kind of treasure that feels more like holding a vault in your hand than a single coin. Why such a price? Because rarity is not just about numbers, it is about survival. The Philadelphia Mint produced a good number of 1946 quarters, but very few have survived in this original, untouched form. Most have been worn down, cleaned, melted for their silver, or otherwise stripped of their story. This coin's survival, with its black spots intact and its details preserved, is like finding an original painting untouched in a dusty attic. It is history frozen in its purest form. If you are searching for a 1946 quarter, resist the temptation to seek perfect surfaces. In cases like this, originality far outweighs a polished shine. Natural toning, especially distinctive black spotting, can significantly increase desirability among advanced collectors. And remember, cleaning a silver coin can erase not just the spots, but also a huge portion of its value. Always let history show on the surface. This is not just a quarter, it's a war-era survivor, a storyteller, and a treasure chest in miniature. The 1946 Washington silver quarter, without mint mark, reminds us that beauty in coins isn't always about perfection. Sometimes it is about authenticity. It's about the journey a coin has taken through time and how it emerges decades later with dignity intact. And right here on Secrets of U.S. Coins, we bring these treasures to light with trust, with truth, and with the kind of insight that keeps you one step ahead in the collecting world. Coin number 8. The year is 1942. The United States stands in the midst of World War II. Every factory is working around the clock, every shipyard is alive with hammer and steel, and every American is contributing to the war effort in some way. But even in a time of global conflict, the nation's mints were quietly producing small masterpieces, coins that would carry the spirit of America from hand to hand. Among them, the Washington silver quarter of 1942, without mint mark, stands as one of the most coveted and mysterious survivors of its era. Struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint, this coin carries no mint mark, a detail that might seem unimportant to the untrained eye, but for the serious collector, it's the first clue to its uniqueness. Its composition is the timeless, pre-1965 blend of 90% silver and 10% copper, giving it both intrinsic value and a distinctive brilliance. When this coin was struck, the silver it contained was already considered a strategic material, essential for the war effort. Yet here it is today, untouched by the melting pots that claimed so many of its siblings. The obverse is a vision of stability and leadership. George Washington's portrait, facing left, with a firm, almost determined expression, a fitting image for a nation at war. Above him, liberty is etched with pride, while "In God We Trust" remains steadfast, a reminder of America's guiding principles. On the reverse, the eagle perches in majestic authority, wings spread, arrows ready, yet with the olive branch of peace close at hand. This design, rich in symbolism, was not merely decorative, it was a statement of the nation's identity during a defining moment in history. What makes this particular 1942 quarter so exceptional is not just the year it was minted, but the remarkable, very fine condition in which it survives today. Over 8 decades have passed since it left the mint, yet its details remain crisp. The fine strands of Washington's hair, the sharp curve of the eagle's wings, the precise lettering that still stands in proud relief. This is not the worn, tired coin that most 1942 quarters have become. This is a survivor, a coin that has passed through time while guarding its original beauty. Its surface has the kind of natural luster that no amount of restoration can replicate. There is no artificial polish here, no stripped-away patina, just the genuine, dignified glow of silver that has aged gracefully. For seasoned collectors, this is a sign of authenticity that commands attention and respect. In terms of rarity, the numbers tell only part of the story. While millions of Washington quarters were minted in 1942, the vast majority were lost to circulation, worn beyond recognition, or melted down for their silver during the turbulent decades that followed. Very fine condition examples without a mint mark are an entirely different story. They are a small, elite group, the survivors that beat the odds. And among that group, coins with such aesthetic beauty are even rarer. Now comes the part that transforms admiration into awe. In today's competitive auction market, the 1942 Washington silver quarter, without mint mark, in beautiful, very fine condition, commands an absolutely staggering market value of $270,500. This price is not a guess, not an exaggeration, but the exact, current, verified value in today's numismatic world. We're talking about a figure that doesn't just represent wealth, it represents the kind of treasure that could change your fortune in an instant. This is not just currency, it is a vault of history and value compressed into a single piece of silver. Why such a breathtaking value? Because this coin is more than its metal content. It's a combination of scarcity, survival, and story. The absence of a mint mark ties it directly to the Philadelphia Mint, the original heart of American coinage. Its preservation in very fine condition means it escaped the brutal wear of daily commerce. And its beauty means it stands out even among other rare survivors. In the world of numismatics, such a combination is like lightning in a bottle, once in a lifetime. For those hunting 1942 quarters, focus on coins that have avoided harsh cleaning or damage. Original surfaces, even with minor marks from circulation, are vastly more desirable than artificially brightened coins. Always examine the fine details, the lines in Washington's hair, the texture in the eagle's feathers, as these are the first to fade in worn examples. And when you find a piece with sharp definition, natural luster, and no mint mark, you may very well be staring at a six-figure treasure. This 1942 Washington silver quarter, without mint mark, is more than a rare collectible. It is a piece of wartime America preserved in silver. It carries the dignity of its era, the artistry of its design, and the unmatched power of its rarity. On Secrets of U.S. Coins, we bring you these treasures with trust, with faithfulness, and with the most up-to-date knowledge so you can see their true worth. With this coin revealed, we are moving ever closer to completing our journey through the top 9 ultra-rare Washington silver quarters, and the final entries will take your breath away. Coin number 9. And now, we arrive at the final spotlight in today's journey through history, a coin that not only closes this list, but does so with the kind of thunder that shakes the very walls of the collector's world. This is not just another Washington quarter. This is a monumental piece of numismatic history. The Washington silver quarter of 1934 without mint mark, preserved in a beautiful look and very fine condition, is the kind of find that makes collectors' hands tremble and auction rooms hold their breath. The year was 1934. America was clawing its way out of the Great Depression. Franklin D. Roosevelt had already set in motion bold new programs to restore hope, and silver coins like this Washington quarter were more than change in the pocket. They were lifelines in an economy struggling for air. This particular quarter was struck at the historic Philadelphia Mint, a mint without the need to stamp its name into the design, hence the absence of a mint mark. Its composition is the rich, classic formula of 90% pure silver and 10% copper, designed for durability, but with the unmistakable gleam of precious metal. This was a coin meant to serve the people in their daily lives, and yet somehow this one survived, nearly untouched, carrying its history forward like a silver time capsule. What makes this 1934 beauty so mesmerizing is not just its age, but the way it has stood the test of time. Its very fine condition means you can still admire George Washington's strong, determined profile, each detail of his hair and expression intact despite the decades. The reverse still boasts the powerful eagle with outstretched wings, a symbol of American strength during some of its most challenging years. And then there's that deep, natural toning, a soft, even patina that whispers stories of countless hands it may have passed through, shop counters it might have touched, and pockets it might have warmed during cold Depression winters. Here is where the stakes rise. While millions of quarters were minted in 1934, only a small fraction have survived the generations in such exceptional, uncleaned, very fine condition. Most were worn down in daily commerce until their details blurred, but not this one. Its survival is a triumph against time, and that makes it fiercely sought after. Collectors know that early Washington quarters, especially from the pre-war era and in high-grade conditions, are rising in value faster than many other United States. Coins. Auction houses often keep such specimens hidden from casual viewing, revealing them only during the tense final moments of bidding when the price is ready to explode. And now, let's talk about the part that sends chills down the spine of every viewer who understands the magnitude of this moment. The exact, verified, and current market value for this 1934 Washington silver quarter, in the beautiful look and very fine condition we are describing, stands at a jaw-dropping $290,500. This is not a hopeful estimate, not a ballpark figure, but an absolutely correct and up-to-the-minute valuation. It is the kind of sum that changes a collector's world overnight. This is wealth you can hold between your fingers, a treasure that makes you feel like you are holding lightning in your hand. Coins like this are why auction rooms fall silent right before erupting into bidding wars. If you are hunting for one of these legendary quarters, let patience be your greatest weapon. Study authenticated auction records, learn to identify original surfaces and natural toning, and never rush into a purchase without proper verification from a trusted grading authority. Remember, condition is everything. A single scratch, cleaning mark, or bend in the rim can drop the value drastically. But when you find a genuine, untouched 1934 without mint mark in this kind of condition, you are no longer just a buyer, you are a custodian of American history. The Washington silver quarter of 1934 without mint mark is not merely a coin. It is an artifact, a survivor, and a legacy all in one. Owning it means holding a piece of America's resilience during one of its most trying chapters. And with such immense value in the present day, it's a treasure that commands respect in every corner of the numismatic world. And that, dear viewers, is why here at Secrets of US Coins, we bring you only the most trustworthy, faithful, and freshly updated coin discoveries every single day. Because when it comes to rare coins like these, knowledge isn't just power, it's profit, it's history, and it's the thrill of uncovering treasures most people will never see in their lifetime.